right, so on Habits and Hustle today, we have Autumn Calabrese, who is a huge fitness personality, I guess you would say. She's created numerous programs for Beachbody. Some of them would include 21-day fix, 80-day obsession. I love that one, by the way.
Thank you.
And many others. So thank you so much, Autumn, for coming on today and sharing some of your wisdom with Habits and Hustle listeners.
I love it. Thanks for having me.
Oh, thanks for coming. I don't even know where to start with you because, number one, you're someone in my area, and I have like a zillion questions about that, but you're also a very established entrepreneur. So I guess I'd like to start with the beginning. Okay. How did you transition? Were you a personal trainer?
I was.
And then you became like one of the primary faces of Beachbody, which for people who don't know what Beachbody is, it's probably the most well-known like health and fitness company probably on the planet. They have P90X, which was like the
original,
the OG. The OG, exactly. So tell us a little bit about your journey. What happened?
Yeah. So I was a trainer. I was a trainer for 10 years at the time. That had been its own long journey of creating my own business, doing in-home personal training, also working at Equinox as a trainer.
Which one? Which Equinox?
I was at Woodland Hills.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Along the way, watching clients sort of struggle with nutrition, really, because I was the trainer. So I knew what we were doing in our workouts. And my clients that I had were coming to me 4 to 5 days a week. So I know what was happening in their workouts. I'm putting them through the ringer.
Right.
And a lot of them would do really well, and a lot of them I would see sort of the same thing: up 5 pounds, down 5 pounds, up and down. And I had one client in particular that was experiencing that would just train her butt off.
Right.
And she was never quite making the progress that I knew she would make. And we would talk about food, and she would tell me all the things she had been eating, and everything would sound right. And yet here we were. And we went out to lunch one day after one of her training sessions, and we had both ordered salads. And the salads come out, and they were literally like this big, just filled with lettuce and chicken and pasta and cheese and croutons and broccoli and and then enough salad dressing to cover a salad that big. And, I'm eating mine, and I eat maybe, a third of it, and she eats the whole salad. And it was this aha moment for me. I looked across, and I was like, that's our problem. And she's, what do you mean it's salad? And I was like, yeah, that's more than a salad. That's like 4 salads in one. I bet that's your entire calorie intake for the day. And we pulled out the menu, and sure enough, the salad was like 1,500 calories.
Right.
And she's small. She was like my height. So she was 5'4" on a good day. And so that's what triggered me to start working on my portion control program. So I had spent the next year and a half working on a portion control program, launched it on a show called Home and Family on the Hallmark Channel.
Gosh, I remember that. Yeah.
And the program was called Change My Plate, and they were just little containers with obviously like verbiage on how to use them, what foods go in what size containers that teach people portion control. And I was also working with a lot of people in the entertainment industry. So one of my clients, very big in the movie industry on the sound editing side, they had been clients for years. They knew I was creating this program. When it was finished, I gave it to them to show them like, okay, here it is, it's finished. They had a friend who worked at Sony. He was over one day. They felt he needed a little nudge in the health department and the weight loss department, so they were showing it to him to try to get him interested to use it. They were like, look what our trainer created. And he really wasn't obviously interested in it for himself, but he said, I know somebody I think might be interested in that. Am I allowed to pass it along? And my clients called me and said, we have this friend, they want to pass it along. And I said, well, do you mind me, like, who do they want to pass it to? And she said, well, he used to work with the head of product development at Beachbody, so they want to send it to Beachbody. And that was, that to me is like the...
it was like...
And I was like, yes, send it along.
And also, by the way, like that was like how many years ago?
That was 6 years ago at this point.
So that was your first, I guess, entree, excuse the pun, into like Beachbody. It was only 6 years ago?
Yes.
Feels like it was much longer than that.
I know.
Wow. So wow. And at that time, before like social media and everyone had like these crazy platforms.
Right.
That really was like the mecca, like Beachbody. So you really developed the program before Beachbody even like...
I developed a version of it. Obviously, when you signed on to Beachbody, they bought it from me, and then we got to do with it all the amazing things that I would have loved to have done with it had I
had the funds.
Had the funds to do it way.
But you made the bone. You did.
But I had the backbone idea of it already.
So I'm curious. What was the idea how far did you come, and then what did it turn out to be?
Mine was the portion controls.
Okay.
So these food go like this type of food goes in this size container. This type of food goes in this size container.
So that was your idea.
Yes.
Which I think was brilliant. By the way, another little caveat. That to me is the crux of everything. It's all about portions and it's about what you eat.
Yes. Now, what I hadn't put in my version was something that I practiced, but I just hadn't, there was only so much I could do at one time. So with when it went to Beachbody and they said, okay, great, how do we develop this even more? I said, I want to put my style of balanced macronutrients, which is what I practiced when I was a fitness competitor.
Right.
Because I was in the fitness competition world and I would watch so many girls starve, basically. Yeah. While competing.
Yeah, that's basically the worst.
Living on 800 calories a day, and I was eating 2,500 calories a day. No problem.
You were eating 2,500 when you were competing?
Yes. I would eat my way down in body weight. And everybody was like, what does that mean? How do you eat your way down? But because all of my macros were balanced, combined with how my workouts were going, stage day, I'm eating steak and potatoes every 2 hours, and everybody else is like,
seriously?
Withering away.
Yeah.
Yes.
Do you have like a background in diet? Are you a dietitian?
I am not a dietitian. I love nutrition. I studied it. I studied it a lot. I worked with a nutritionist when creating the program. And when I was competing, I worked with a coach. So my coach at the time was who taught me, like, here's how we're going to balance your macros, which is a 40-30-30 split. Yeah. So 40% carbs, 30% protein, 30% healthy fat. But when we would do it, right, like, we're sitting there with the plan, like, okay, you're going to have chicken and you're going to have broccoli and we're on a spreadsheet calculating it all out, which is great if you've got the background and the time to sit there and punch in all of that data on a regular basis. Most people don't do that or have that time or even understand that or want to look up all those macros. So switch over to 21-Day Fix and Ultimate Portion Fix. So it was somebody else on my team who had the idea to color code the containers, which was genius. I wish I could take credit for that part, but I can't.
That's really genius.
But that was super genius. And it was like, so I was like, okay, well, protein goes in this size and carbs goes in this size. And she said, well, let's make them different colors so that it's easier for people to understand.
Yeah.
That was perfect. And then with the nutritionist, we basically used the scientific formulas that we all use, the Harris Benedict, right? Mm-hmm. Calculate it based on, okay, if you're within this weight range, this is where you end up. And if this rate, and so that's how we got to where we were, to here's your color-coded containers. You do one quick, easy calculation, and based on your goal, weight loss or maintenance, this is how many of each container you get a day. So you no longer are calculating anything. You're just going, I need 4 reds today. I need 5 greens today. I need 3 purples.
So the program, when someone buys that program, they get they get like a bag of containers.
They get the containers.
What else do they get?
So when we first launched 5 years ago, they got 21-Day Fix, which was the workout program, with the containers and the guidebook on how to use it, and a couple of little recipes.
And what's so good about that is it's like because the nutrition portion is 80% of the battle, you're now giving someone a program that's taking care of, and it's a holistic program.
Yes.
It's not just here, just do the squat and lunge.
Right. Exactly, because how many people work out day in and day out and never see quite what they want, and they can't figure out why, and then they give up on the fitness because they don't realize it's actually the nutrition.
It's exactly like that's because I know for myself, and probably you're similar, maybe not, I don't know. But if I work out like a fiend, and if my diet isn't on point, I will gain weight. Yeah, like it's just the way it is, and I'm someone who like knows what I'm doing. Yeah, it's like
totally.
But people don't want to understand. You have to have both pieces.
Yes.
So sorry, go ahead.
No, that's okay. So now, 5 years later, this was the beauty of it. Obviously, 21-Day Fix was one of the biggest programs Beachbody has ever launched in history.
Better than P90X?
It depends on how you compare them.
Okay.
Because, P90X has had 20 years.
Well, that's the thing.
But if you look at launches and different time periods and stuff, but it holds its own for sure up against P90X.
Because it comes with everything.
Yes.
Wow, I remember hearing that it was like a super successful program for Beachbody, but now that you're sitting here, I wanted to ask like the exact details. Like, so when they launched, it was out of the gate, it was successful.
When we launched, yes. Yeah. So when we launched, we sold in one day what they had thought we would sell in the first week. We sold in the first week what they thought we would sell in the first 3 months, and within 5 days, we were back ordered for almost 3 months.
Amazing. So then what happened? Like they saw this guy from Sony brought it to the Beachbody
Brought it
guy.
to them. Yes, they brought me in, interviews,
the whole thing.
Actually one interview and then a very long wait, about 6 or 7 weeks, where I thought for sure like, oh, that was just another missed opportunity. And I got the contract one Friday night at 10:30 at night, literally. Like I had, I would check my phone constantly. And it got to the point where I was like, this is not happening. And I don't even know. I heard my email ding and I happened to open it. And it was from the Beachbody attorney. And there it was. And I called my dad and cried. And he was like, what's wrong? And I was like, nothing. For the first time, nothing's wrong. Everything's right. Like, I'm signing with Beachbody tonight. I just got the contract. Like, and life, like me and Dom are going to be okay. Because at that point I was living, I was taking care of my son and we weren't struggling per se, but I was working 12 and 13-hour days. I was paying for everything, and I was definitely living paycheck to paycheck.
Because people don't understand, like as a trainer, you're making a nice hourly salary, but you're capped at your hourly salary.
Yeah, and how many hours a day you can work.
Especially when you have a kid.
Yes.
Wow. So this was like a life changer. This
Huge,
was a game changer for you. Game changer,
totally. Overnight in some ways, and then yet we spent the next year developing it. We spent the next year writing the fitness programs, taking a test group through 9 rounds of the fitness and the nutrition.
So wait, so let's go. Yeah, this is the part I'm so curious about. So then they sign you, so to speak. They bought the program from you outright?
They bought the containers from me outright, yes.
Okay, so then you get some money for the idea.
Yes.
Okay, and then who writes all the workouts?
I do.
Do you have help from the inside?
We have a fitness expert.
Right.
Her name is Stephanie Saunders. She's lovely, and her and I basically share a brain.
Yeah.
So when we sit down together,
both of you
it's magic. Yes.
You collaborate.
It's like it'll be like, okay, here's the idea, and I'll throw 10 things out, and then she'll be like, okay, great. Now what about like this, this, and this? And the beauty of working with Steph is that I'm not the only trainer with Beachbody. I'm not the only program. So she, being the fitness expert and sort of the head of that, of all the fitness, knows all of the workouts that are being created by all of the trainers and all of the moves that are going in. So if I say like, oh, I want to put this move in, and Shaun T filmed something 2 months before me and it hasn't released yet, so I don't know what moves are in that. She might be like, oh, we just did something similar with Shaun T, so do you want to maybe change that a little bit? I'm like, oh, great.
Good. So there's so there's less repetition.
So there's less, exactly. Yeah. It's less repetition, more variety.
That's amazing. So then do you sign on to be like Beachbody talent? Do you have and do they say, okay, Autumn, we're going to sign you for a 1-year contract just for this like how does it work?
Yeah, I'm considered an independent contractor. Okay. I don't know how everybody's contracts work. I know when I signed mine, I signed on for a 2-year deal. Okay. But basically, so you get that first one, and depending on how well you do, determines whether or not you get your next one. And I've had 7 now.
And there's a bazillion. I mean, every time are you the only girl at Beachbody?
No, I am not. Shalene Johnson.
Oh yeah, Shalene Johnson. Yeah.
Her last one was Pio. She hasn't done anything with us in a few years. Jericho is another one of our trainers. She actually launched a program today. So
which one is it?
Her name is Jericho McMatthews. So she launched. Her first program was a combination program with her and one of our guy trainers, Joel Freeman. So they did Core to Force together.
Oh, okay. So I saw Joel Freeman. He did the Lift 4.
Yes.
He has another program out?
Yes. So before Lift 4 and before Jericho's new program that launched today was their combo program called Core to Force. So it was like a mixed martial arts program.
Oh, okay.
And it was the 2 of them as the trainers.
Okay. But, okay, so basically, though, with your situation, they signed you to do the 21-day... The name wasn't even picked yet, or was it?
My boss knew the name that he wanted.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Because did you have the idea, like when you had these container ideas, when you were selling the idea... Did you have a time allotted with it?
No, because it's life. Like, they're for life. And that's actually the beauty of where we're at now. We relaunched, so at the 5-year anniversary, we just relaunched in March. It's now called Ultimate Portion Fix. So it is the nutrition now stands on its own. Because over the last 5 years, I've developed it significantly deeper. So
Right.
we've gone many layers deeper. We talk about sugar addiction and emotional eating and different ways you can use the
Right.
containers for different goals. So now it's its own standalone nutrition program that you could put with any fitness program.
Perfect. So then 20, you could sign on, so 1 year contract or for this thing. And then how long from beginning to end was the process to get it launched?
21 Day Fix was a year. That was a the whole thing was such an interesting learning process because
Wow.
I was still seeing all my private clients and working at Equinox and in development and running a morning test group and a nighttime test group with Beachbody. So
Both a morning and a night one?
yes. So if possible, I ended up working even more. And at the time, my ex-husband then lost his job and moved to San Diego. So I was then taking care of my 3-year-old on my own. So it was the craziest year, but in the best way possible.
Yeah.
So yes, we went through a year. It probably took us 3 to 4 months to sort of write the workouts, and then we went into testing stages.
Right.
So with Beachbody, we don't ever launch anything that we haven't tested. And with 21 Day Fix, being our CEO is Carl Deichler, he was the one that wanted the name 21 Day Fix. And I actually remember when he said 21 days.
It's a good name.
Love it.
Yeah.
But I freaked because he gave me a certain amount of weight that he was hoping would be the average that people lost. And in my mind, I was like, how am I going to make this happen?
How
Like
much
he's
weight
going to
was
fight.
it?
He wanted 10 to 15 pounds in 3 weeks. Now remember though, this program was created, 21 Day Fix was specifically designed for people, like it was designed with a person in mind that was significantly overweight,
Right.
that had 50 plus pounds to lose,
Right.
that hadn't been exercising, had not been eating right at all. And when somebody has
Absolutely.
a
It's much easier
lot
to drop
of weight to
fat.
lose, they can drop 8 to 10 pounds in a week when all of a sudden they start moving their body and get rid of all the processed junk
Exactly.
food.
Absolutely.
But we did not just take obese people through the program. We took people of all fitness levels through the program to see, like, well, a fit person, will they enjoy this program? Will they benefit from this program? What if somebody only has 10 or 15 pounds to lose? And obviously, if you only have 10 or 15 pounds, they're not the people losing 10 or 15 pounds in 3 weeks.
Of course.
But we definitely had people
array of people.
yes, that were losing 10 to 15 pounds in 3 weeks that had more weight to lose.
Right. Wow. Okay.
So yeah.
And then a year later.
A year later.
It launches.
So we launched it a year later. We launched it, I think it was maybe like February 12th or something like that we launched.
Wow.
2014. And then 6 months into that launch is when my boss came back to me and was like, okay, I want the extreme version. Like now I want the version for the people, for the athlete.
For the athlete. I'm going to sneak. Hold on.
Go ahead. Bless you.
Sorry.
That's okay.
I'm sorry.
That's
So
okay.
basically, you, like, obviously that program, like, crushed.
Yes.
But then when did, like, so then when did the other one, because then I saw for a period of time, like, I didn't know who you were, and then all of a sudden I saw, like, this other one, like, that one comes out. I saw that, like, at the time you still watched, like, the infomercials on TV. And then I saw you on, like, a hammer and chisel with another, with a big...
Sagi,
big
the bodybuilder.
Guy. You did that one, and then you did another one.
Country Heat.
I mean, like, it was, like, literally, like, every time I turned on the TV, like, it was just you and Beachbody. That was, like, all I saw.
I've been blessed to have basically a program a year.
Oh, God, more even it feels like.
So it was 21 Day Fix, and then a year later is when I released Extreme. So it was only 6 months into the launch of 21 Day Fix when we went into developing Fix Extreme.
That was before Hammer and Chisel?
Yes. Then Hammer and Chisel came.
So, okay, so did Extreme do as well as the regular 21 Day Fix?
No. It is, I mean, it's done well, but no, it has not. The only thing, so I've had 2 that have been what I would call smash hits.
Smash hits,
And that is the original 21 Day Fix, and that's 80 Day Obsession.
Which I think is great.
Thank you.
But it's so long. When I first heard the title, I was like, oh my God, like, who's going to do a program for 80 days? But I'll tell you, I guess what I look for in a program is different than another person, but I look for like the exercises, like how like good the exercises are,
Sure.
right?
Yeah.
I think it was great.
Thank you.
No, you're welcome. I'll get to that one after.
That one took a while, but
yeah, I would think that took like wouldn't that one take you like 4 years?
That one took me a year, almost a year and a half. That one, I'll tell you, there was an interesting story behind that one. But we did 21 Day Fix. That was what I would call a smash hit.
Yeah.
Fix Extreme did well. The Masters Hammer and Chisel did okay. Country Heat did well within a niche.
Okay, this Fix Extreme. So basically, just were the workouts harder? Is that basically the difference? Okay, I've never even seen that.
The workouts are harder, and then I dialed the nutrition in a little bit more. So I put in carb cycling for people, like what I call countdown to competition, since it is a 3-week program.
Did you think of that, or did Beachbody think of that, or
the countdown to competition?
Yeah, or the whole like cycling, the carb cycling.
Well, carb cycling is something I would use when I was competing.
Right, that's what I was asking.
So they said, how are we going to make the nutrition different? And I said, let me take people through carb cycling and teach them like this is used for a specific goal and a specific time frame. Like that is. I would call carb cycling a diet, not like there's foundational fix, which is what the nutrition with 21 Day Fix. But then there's carb cycling, which I tell people to use like if you have a wedding coming up, if you've got a vacation coming up. But it's, a way to just drive that nutrition a little harder. That's when I started teaching people about certain foods that I don't eat, that I avoid. Like I avoid dairy because dairy can bloat you.
Right.
There are, certain carbs. Like in the original program, you could still have chips and pancakes and things like that, right? Like in the right portions and a certain amount.
In the extreme, though.
But in extreme, all the dessert, the dessert goes, the alcohol goes.
Right. It's extreme.
It's extreme. It's 3 weeks of how hard can I dial this in.
And to kind of like basically like just like take it to the next level.
Yeah.
And then, but I would think, and correct me if I'm wrong, with Beachbody, is the majority of their demo more the 21 Day Fix people, more the everyday exerciser versus someone who's like hardcore extreme that would buy the extreme?
I think in general, when you're talking about...
I don't know, I'm asking.
Yeah, I think in general, like when we're talking about people, especially, let me say this. For sure, for the last 20 years, we were definitely more, this is, the mom that works out at home, or the guy who, maybe hasn't worked out in a while and doesn't want to go to the gym, or that's too busy to go to the gym, that sort of thing. It's really interesting where we're at right now. If you look, everybody on social media is a fitness expert, and everybody is catching on to the fact that people like to work out at home. And so even the people that you were watching just a month ago that were all showing all of their workouts in a gym are all of a sudden like, home workouts are the best, and look at how you can work out at home.
Right.
So I do think you're actually starting to see a trend. It's still definitely geared way more towards the regular person that wants to work out more so than the athlete.
Yeah.
But I do think we're seeing more and more people that want to train like an athlete at home.
I think, can I tell you something? I like to use these, your programs when I am working out at home and I'm doing my own stuff, and then I'll pepper in one of those workouts because they're good workouts.
Thanks.
And so why would you not? Like, I mean, a lot of times I think like, coaches need coaches.
Right.
Right? Like sometimes I'm not motivated as a person who is like fit to like think of my own. I mean, I do because I just end up doing the same thing over and over and over again my comfort zone, right?
Yes.
We all get into our comfort zone. That way when I can put your thing in, I'll be like, okay, I'm going to do 20 minutes of this. It's different.
Yes.
Right? Just for variety.
And I mean, I work out at home. I used to be a gym rat.
Right.
I maybe go to the gym once every 3 months now.
Wow.
Whereas, but I have a space in my house.
Me too, that's what I'm saying. Exactly.
But my space in my house is mostly dumbbells and resistance loops and
Me too. And by the way, you get a better workout with that stuff.
Yeah.
And like a lot of times, like the me, because I do half and half, just so I can get a different change of scenery.
Totally.
But like when I go to the gym, I got to be honest. A lot of times I get a worse workout because I'm getting stopped. I'm socializing all the time. The drive there, the drive back,
and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, I'm done. I got to be done. I only got 20 minutes in, but I got to go because it's going to take me 20 minutes to drive home.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Versus just like staying at my house, popping in a video, doing my own thing, and then like I'm actually maximizing my time.
Yes.
I mean, and so I'm saying like it could be anyone from big, tall, very fit, not that fit, whatever.
Totally.
So, okay, so then you, I'm sorry, I got so sidetracked.
No, it's okay.
This. So then you're saying your whole chronological thing. So
Yeah.
you did the Country Heat.
So then came Country Heat.
What is Country Heat? Is that like
Country Heat is a cardio dance program to country music.
Is that something you did on your
Yeah.
own? Oh, okay.
Well, it was my boss's idea. I love country music.
Oh, is that okay?
I do love country music, and again, it was designed so obviously there's lots of dance workouts out there.
Right.
I am a dancer. That was I was a dance major in college.
I was going to ask you, were you a dancer?
I was.
So it wasn't like you just kind of plopped on there.
Right.
Yeah.
But it was actually interesting because he wanted it to be that anybody could follow. Basically, like, he basically wanted it to be like for the non-dancer, for the person that has two left feet.
Right.
So here I am as a dancer, and I'm like, okay, I gotta like dial it back. And he sort of had this idea where it's not line dancing at all,
okay.
But he was like, think about line dancing. He's like, think about how fun line dancing is and how easy, like anybody can go and learn a line dance.
Right.
He's like, I want it to be like that. And so that one, the interesting thing with that one was it took so long for he and I to speak the same language to each other because he kept saying, the choreography. We say choreography to me, and in my mind, you want to dance.
Yeah.
And we were going back and forth, and I would film a demo and bring it to him, and he was like, no, that's not what I want. Okay.
Oh
we would go back, and I'd film another version, something else, and bring it back. No, that's not what. And it came down to the wire to the point where we were sitting in a meeting, and so he had two ideas for me at one time. And he said, one idea is this country dance program, and one idea is an ass and abs program. That's what he said.
Oh, okay, yeah. That'd do well, I think.
Well, that ended up being 80 Day Obsession. And so we were sitting in a meeting, and he said, I think maybe we need to put the country dance program on the back burner and pivot over to the ass and abs program.
Right.
And I was like, I'm so determined at that point. Like, I'm like, no, I'm gonna get it. Like, now I'm mad. Like, now I'm like, no. Yeah. Even though I'm excited to do the other program, right. I'm like, oh, no. We're not gonna walk away from the challenge now. And I was like, explain it again. And so he explained something, and something hit at that moment. And I said, you don't want choreography. You're using the wrong word. And he's like, I don't know. What do you mean? And I was like, you want steps. That's all you want. I was like, you don't want to dance. Because I was creating a dance. Yeah. Like, here, you do these steps, and then you add this on. And you add this, and you add this on. And
like
I was
a routine.
Yes. I was like, you want a routine? And I was like, you don't want a routine. And he's like, I don't know. And I was like, I know what you want. Let me have one more shot. And my team was waiting for me down the hall in the gym. And I walked in there, and I was like, I got it. And they're like, what? And I was like, we got to go back to the drawing board, but here's what it is. And instantly, I figured out, like, this is what it is. It's 8 counts of this one step. We got a 4-8 count break in between for me to blah, 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 demo the whole next move. Put the music on. And they're like, what? And I was like, just put the music on and hit record. And they did. And so I filmed like 5 minutes of it. And I went back down the hall with the video, and I put the iPad in front of him. And he watched it, and he was like, yes, that's what I want.
That's so funny. And that's how it happened.
And that's how it happened. And thank God, because had we moved over to the abs and butt program at that time, that would not have been, it wouldn't have been what 80 Day Obsession is. We didn't have the technology for it at the time. Country Heat was 2.5, 3 years ago. So he didn't even have the idea at that time to film 80 workouts in a row, to show up on set every single day. I mean, when we filmed 80 Day Obsession, we filmed Monday through Friday, every single day for 13 weeks.
One workout a day.
One workout a day, except on Fridays. On Fridays, we would film 2-a-days, just so that my cast and I would get Saturday, Sunday off, and the crew.
Right.
So we would have the weekends off. So Fridays, we were filming 2 workouts a day.
Wow. So, and at the end of it, how did Country Heat do?
Country Heat did well. For again, it's sort of a niche program, right?
Program,
like it's like one of those, like, it's a dance and it's country music. It's really funny because so many people were like, I don't like country music.
Right.
And but we picked top country artists, top country songs.
How'd you license the music?
It's re-recorded.
Okay.
But we were able to license some pretty big hits.
That's expensive to license that music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm friends with Jody Messina. She's a country artist.
Okay.
So I actually got her to write us an original and perform it for us. So when we launched in Nashville. and I got to perform on stage with Jody
Really?
singing the song that she wrote for us.
Isn't that amazing?
So that was huge because actually when I made my drive to California from St. Louis when I was like 22 years old, she had just released a CD and I must have wore her CD out on the drive. So it was such a unique,
that's amazing,
full circle moment of like.
And did you meet her as a client when you got to LA, or you were
No,
friends with her before?
her cousin was a Beachbody coach. Her cousin got her to do 21 Day Fix. She loved 21 Day Fix. She happened to be in LA at one point, so she wanted to come take a tour of Beachbody. They called me and said, you know, she loves your program. You want to come in and meet her? So I went to the office. I met her. We sort of kept in touch via social media.
Yeah.
And
the rest is history.
Yeah, when the time came, I reached out to her and I was like, so...
Yeah.
Any interest? And I went to her house in Nashville and sat down with her and like we talked about it and like, yeah,
that's great.
Yeah.
And then the hammer and chisel one, what was that?
Yes.
Like was that a success?
Look, I think everything's a success in its own way, but they're all different levels of success and they're all going to reach different people.
I'm just curious, like who would be buying what, like the market for those things.
So hammer and chisel is definitely geared towards people who like to lift weights.
Yeah, that was like heavy. Like that's heavy.
It's heavy lifting.
Yeah. What was your role? Because you were the chisel.
I am the chisel.
Yeah, you're the
yes.
chisel. So you do the more. I don't remember that program as well. I remember seeing you all the time on the commercial for it.
Yeah, we didn't. That one is when infomercials kind of started to die out, and so we didn't. The infomercial barely ran for that one.
Oh, gotcha.
Because
That's
it just wasn't worth it anymore. The people that were watching infomercials were not the market that was going to buy hammer and chisel.
That's what I thought.
Yes.
So that's okay.
So we didn't run the infomercial on that. That one, so Sagi, who is a bodybuilder, who is a competitive bodybuilder for years, he is the hammer. So his his workouts were really like the heavy lifting. Yeah. Me being the chisel, I'm the one, my workouts are designed to sort of bring in that chisel sculpt shape shred. Still both weight training, but just little bit different ways. And so what you would do is you would alternate like between a hammer workout and a chisel workout and a hammer workout and a chisel workout.
Right.
Or depending, you do have the ability to say like, I'm just going to do all the hammer workouts in a row because I want to build.
But he kept on, Carl, right? He kept on putting you as I know you said Jericho is her name?
Yes, okay. She's newer with us.
But I'm saying for a while there, before Jericho, I guess, I felt like he kept on putting you as the female face of Beachbody. Like, okay, here we go again. Like, here's Autumn. Like, you know, like I felt like with every program, like, now how do you, like, when you're alone by yourself working out, what do you do? Like, what's your style? What do you like to do?
I mean, I love what my workouts are basically how I like to train. So I love cardio strength training. Yeah. So basically using weights, build muscle, but keep that heart rate up.
Yeah.
So you're getting that effect of, you know, strengthening your heart, strengthening your lungs, burning more calories because you're in that cardio zone, but you're lifting at the same time. That's not to say that I won't go do a heavy lift. Like I love to go do a heavy lift
like
as well.
Like what would be like your weekly routine? Like if you're working out at home, you said you work out at home most of the time?
It depends on where I'm at and what I'm working towards. So like I just finished filming 21 Day Fix and 21 Day Fix Extreme real time. So those were my workouts for the last 6 weeks.
I was going to say, do you have a different, what is your routine when you are filming?
Now, ever since 80 Day Obsession, because we filmed in real time, I go rep for rep when I'm filming. So I am doing the workout with you.
Right. So then you're not working out on your own then?
No, because I just killed myself on camera.
Right.
But, you know, and you're on camera, so not only are you going, you're talking, and the adrenaline is going, and so, like...
People don't understand how difficult that is to talk and work out at the same time. Like, I mean, it's not like as easy as people are like, oh yeah, you have to be making sense and you have to have the stamina and endurance to be able to do both at the same time.
Yeah.
But are you doing, now that I'm thinking, you're doing the whole workout the whole time with all of them, right? Like you don't stop, walk around. Like a lot of people, what we do.
I used to. The old way we used to film.
Right.
But with 80 Day Obsession, I did that in the first like 3 or 4 workouts.
Yeah.
And I came off set one day and I was like, I'm not doing this. I was like, we purposely cast me a cast that was fit.
Right.
Because they got to hold up for 80 days. I was like, walking around makes no sense.
Right.
There's nothing to correct. Their form is perfect.
So they know what they're doing.
So I'm walking around and like, and you look beautiful. And so do you. So I was like,
so funny.
I was like, so yeah, I was like, that's it. I'm gonna go rep for rep with them. I was like, let me do something different. And they were a little worried because they're like, are you gonna cue and da-da? And I was like,
yeah,
I got it.
Yeah, because your cueing was fine.
Thank
Great.
you. Yeah.
Because I'm like, even when I watch some of these other videos, just out of, just because I'm curious what people are doing in the space.
Yeah.
They do a couple reps still, like the lift 4. He does like none
So
actually.
he filmed differently.
Yeah.
Because he was filming 2 and 3 workouts a day. So
wow.
he had to save his body. He couldn't
work out the whole time.
quite go rep for rep,
right.
in every workout.
But you do so tell us the story though, because you said like the 80-day obsession had a whole story behind it.
Well, so it either was going to be country heat or 80-day obsession, and it ended up being 80-day obsession. And that was me saying to my boss when he said abs and ass, I was like, look, if we're going to do this, we're going to do it in a way that's real. Like you can't build a butt in 21 days or even 30 or 60 days. And I was like, same thing when it comes to strengthening your core. And I was like, and while this is about aesthetics, for me, this is about functionality. Like your core and your butt, like those are 2 main things that are turned off on most of our bodies, right? Like we never use our core anymore. We're sitting all day long. Our glutes aren't firing properly. And I was like,
now you're talking trainer talk. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, so we got to go through. I was like, I'm not going to just throw people into moves because I first have to get their body engaged.
Right. You got to activate the muscle, the right muscles.
I need one phase. I need 4 weeks just to activate properly so that people know how to engage these muscles when we start lifting and doing harder moves.
Yeah, yeah.
And he said, what do you need? And I said, I need 3 months. And he kind of side-eyed me like, oof. And I was like, no, I promise. Like, we went back and forth. But my boss has faith in me and he understands. And he's like, all right, we're going longer. And he said, how long are the workouts going to be? And I said, they're going to be an hour. And
you did it like you would legit do it with an actual person.
Yeah.
For yourself even, right? Like it wasn't just like we're going to do a 21-day blah, blah, blah.
No, it wasn't like we're not getting in and out. I was targeting a very different mindset of a person. I wanted the person that wanted to go all in, that was really looking to change their mindset and be like, no, I deserve this hour for me. Mm-hmm. And an hour isn't too much to give. Mm-hmm. And I'm gonna lock this nutrition down because we did time nutrition with that, which was learning to fuel your body on a regular basis because so many people will do all these different ways of eating and not eat enough or eat too much all at once. And
how do you eat? What's your diet like?
Basically, time nutrition is what I eat. So I balance my macronutrients. I follow portion control. I eat every 3 hours. Otherwise, I'm a raging not nice person.
Well, I saw, like you said, like, I'm like, oh, she's a woman after my own heart because you actually eat breakfast first thing in the morning.
Oh, yeah.
Me too. I'm like, how do these people have these intermittent fasting diets where they're waiting until 2 o'clock?
I would die.
Die? It's like, I like wait to eat. Like my favorite thing in the world is like eating food.
Yes.
So how can I just wait like basically half the day until I eat the first thing? It's impossible.
Well, and I get that everybody's body is different. So I will acknowledge that. But for me, my body has been trained that, first of all, I've already fasted when I go to sleep because I get enough sleep. I make sure I get 8 to 9 hours a night, and I don't eat dinner and go right to bed. So we're looking at a 10, 11, 12-hour period that I've gone without food.
What time did you eat your last meal, though?
Probably around 7, 6:30 or 7.
Okay, that's normal.
Yeah, and then I'm in bed by 10-ish.
Okay, that's pretty good. That's pretty normal, I would say.
Yeah, and I'm usually up by 6.
Because of your son?
Because my son, like if it's a school year, we got to get ready for school, or sometimes I've got work. Or, when I was going to set, then I'm up at 5:30, so that's a little earlier. But yes, I literally brush my teeth, and I go right to the kitchen and make myself breakfast.
Yeah, me too. What do you eat for breakfast then? What's your...
My favorite used to be eggs until I found out that I was highly allergic to them. Food sensitivity to my gut.
I found that out too.
It's the most depressing thing.
I still eat them though.
Do you?
Yes, because my favorite thing in the morning to eat.
Maybe once every 3 or 4 months, but it wrecks me. Like it hurts. It's not pretty.
So what are you doing?
So I do, the beauty of having a cooking show and 2 cookbooks. I got a few recipes that I can bounce between. I have something called Fixate Breakfast Sausage. And my brother is the chef. Let me not take all the credit. My brother is an amazing chef. Wow. So he comes up with I tell him what I want, and then he makes it approved for the way I want to eat.
Really?
Yes. So
that's amazing.
He takes the not so healthy food and turns it into the most incredibly tasting healthy food, and I still think he's an evil genius somehow. Oh my gosh. But he does it. So it's turkey sausage. It's turkey that he flavors to taste like maple breakfast sausage.
How? How does he do this?
He's, like I said, he is.
Does he live with you or something?
No, he lived out here for 3 years. He actually
Okay.
just moved back to New York. So now he flies out to film. But
Wow.
he's just, like I said, he's self-taught. He's one of those people who's good at everything.
Yeah.
He's really smart.
I hate those people.
I do too. I love him because he's my brother, but I kind of hate him because
Yeah.
he's so good at it. But it took him like this. He's worked in restaurants his whole life, like Michelin rated restaurants. Like he is phenomenal at what he does.
Wow.
But it took him a minute. Like when I first brought him in
Yeah.
and I was like, but this is how you have to cook. And he was like, no white sugar, no white flour, no
Right.
butter by the
Yeah,
sticks.
no.
Yeah, he was like, I can't do this. And I was like, yeah, you can. Take the challenge. You can do it. My kitchen looked like a disaster for the first couple
Right.
months because at first he was staying with me.
Yeah.
But he figured it out, and now it's like,
It's easy. It's like no big deal.
yeah.
Okay, so then run me through a day in the life of you.
So, like right now, so I got up today. Today I had fixate breakfast sausage. I had steel cut oats. I flavored it with a little bit of nut butter, or sun butter, not nut butter, because I'm allergic to nuts too.
Oh, are you serious?
I found out I had all these food sensitivities a couple years ago. It was like, I'm not sure what happened, but
Oh, wow.
well, actually, I do know what happened. I used to be prone to bronchitis, and I had a lot of rounds of antibiotics, and I think I just destroyed my gut health from it. And so
Really?
all these, I used to have an ironclad stomach, and all this stuff that I used to be able to eat, I just can't
Really?
stomach now.
That's tough.
It sucks. But
So now you got to adjust. So then
now
you
I
have-
adjust, and I've learned, and I always have vegetables with my breakfast.
Okay. What kind of vegetables? I want to know like details. on
Yeah,
them. I wanna-
this morning I had broccoli, so I'll saute up some broccoli with just a tiny little bit of olive oil. I'll do like garlic powder, onion powder,
Okay.
very minimal salt. So that was my breakfast.
Do you drink coffee?
Sometimes I do. I'm not drinking coffee right now. I go through these phases where like my body decides it doesn't like coffee.
Okay.
Well, and I was just in the south of France, so I was drinking a lot of coffee every day because
It's
you can't not.
right.
But now I'm like, okay, because
Stop.
I get acidic.
Right. So then you can't. So do you have tea or just no caffeine?
No, I'll have sometimes tea, but so before my workouts, the only pre-workout I ever use is Beachbody's. It's called Beachbody Energize. It's very clean. So like, and if I'm going to use supplements, I need them to be really clean. I can feel and taste when they're not.
Okay. Do you use only Beachbody supplements then?
Yes, and I will say this. I do not use them just because they are the company I work for. I've tried a bunch of other supplements along the way. I've tried other pre-workouts. They would give me like heart palpitations.
Oh wow. So they have a pre-workout that's
Yeah.
okay.
It has the equivalent of 1 cup of coffee in
Mm-hmm.
terms of caffeine. It has turmeric in there for coloring, I believe. That's why it's yellow. It's just like I said, it's really clean. Like so, I'll use that as my
Instant.
caffeine source because I
Gotcha.
drink it before my workout anyway.
Do you ever drink their Shakeologies?
Every day?
Those Shakeologies, and by the way, I'm not just saying this because you're on here and like we're gonna be like
Yeah.
all raw Beachbody because I'm not getting paid to
Right,
say this.
of course.
But they have a delicious shake, a cafe latte one, or
Yes.
a chocolate one. Both of them are delicious.
Yes.
Like the best I've ever tasted,
Yes.
actually.
Yeah, it's amazing there's like there's vanilla and there's chocolate and there's cafe latte and there's like tropical and there's like all these different flavors
Yeah.
now. But yes, the cafe latte is such a treat because when I do go through my non-drinking coffee phases,
You drink that one?
yeah, because I like the taste of coffee.
Delicious. It's
Like
delicious.
yeah.
So then what do you have for lunch? Do you have a shake every day, you said?
I
or-
do have a shake every day. So I ate breakfast, I drank my Energize, I did my workout this morning.
What did you do today as a workout?
I did 21 Day Fix Extreme Real Time Plyo. So 30 minutes of plyometrics.
So then when you are working out at home, you're basically doing the workouts that you do?
Sometimes I'm just like, I'm winging it. Sometimes I'm like, I want to work legs today. And I'll just do my own thing and
Do
I'll
you
make it
ever
up.
just do cardio? Like, do you have a treadmill at home? Or
I have a stair climber. Yep.
stair.
And so sometimes, yep, I'll just jump on that.
And do that.
And do
so
that.
I was going to say, because if you're working out like in your programs, and
Uh-huh.
you seem to be filming all the time, like, do you ever have the ability just to work out
Yeah.
without having to work out on?
Yes.
You know,
And so that's where I'm at right now. I'm not in the middle of development on anything since we just launched the nutrition program,
Right.
the 2 new real times. So right now it's I'm hodgepodging, which I
Right.
kind of love. So some days I'm making up whatever I want to do. Like
Right.
I'm just like, oh, it's leg day, but I don't want to do a leg day I've already written. I just want to get creative.
What's your favorite leg exercise? The most effective? Which one do you think is the most effective?
Most effective leg exercise.
If you can only do one lower body move, a squat. No, what would you say the best?
I actually think the Buddha squat. So have you done?
Of course. Okay, first of all, I was going to tell you this off camera, but I'll say it now. I've like stolen like some of that, like 2 or 3 are my favorites. One is my new favorites. And that's why I like to watch these videos, just to get ideas. Is that Buddha squat. You're basically split, your legs are split. You sit back on your heel.
You go down like you're going to tie your tennis shoe.
Right. And then come right back up.
Drive up.
And then you do it again. I mean, it's hard for me to describe, but you do that. Okay, go on. I love that. You think that's the best one?
I love that one because you definitely have to work your quad. You're getting glute and hamstring, which I always want to get glute in there too. Like I don't want to be super quad dominant.
Right.
You know, because you're weighting it, you got to work your core if you're doing it right, because you really should be driving up through the front leg and only barely using the back leg for balance.
Some people are like, wah, wah. I have no idea what we're talking about
I know,
now,
right? They're like, you lost me.
Yeah, exactly. We got you, though. Okay, I know what you mean.
But yeah.
It's a good one.
It really hits everything in a strong way, I like.
I also like this one, when you put one leg over the other. And do
the figure 4.
The figure 4, one-legged squat. Whoops.
Yes.
I like that one. Okay, so what do you think the best core move is? Abs.
Anything in a plank.
Okay, so in a plank.
In a plank.
Yeah.
Because one, obviously you have to work upper body also. And if you really do a plank right, which this is where most people mess up, they don't do a plank properly. And you push down through the shoulders, now the lats are engaged, now everything is engaged. You draw up, you squeeze the inner thighs, you squeeze your butt, everything. And that's really, when we talk about, core for people who do Pilates, they're not just talking about your abs, they're talking about
the whole core of your body.
Core of the center of your body.
Right.
And so when you get into plank work, you don't have to worry about that extra pressure on your spine or pulling on your neck.
Absolutely. As a crunch, a lot of people are just like yanking from their neck.
Yes.
And they're not doing anything. They think they're like being effective.
Right. And then they're like, why does my neck hurt the next day?
Right.
And you're like, well, you didn't use your abs.
Exactly. And then what's your favorite upper body to like tone your upper body?
Ooh.
Let's say shoulders, just because it's like
shoulders.
Or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm gonna leave it up to you. Whatever you want to say.
So, okay. Upper body is the hardest for me. My strength is in my legs. I'm a dancer, right?
Right.
So upper body is very hard for me.
Most women, though, have that issue.
Yes.
Yes.
I think I like working my back the most because it's my weakest place. I can't do a pull-up. Like people are always like, "What do you mean you can't do a pull-up? You're a fitness expert." And I'm like, "Yeah, and I can't do a pull-up. I don't know what you want me to tell you. Like,
exactly.
I can't do it without. I can do it if I'm assisted.
Yeah,
but
on your own.
Yeah, I've had shoulder impingements and stuff like that, so it makes it a little bit harder. So I like. It's still a goal of mine. I still train to one day be able to fully pull up without an assist. On my own. So sometimes I love the negative pull-ups. So, you jump up with the pull-up and control yourself on the way down.
I love that too.
And then I feel it for 4 days.
Right. And it's also like, you're very similar to me. You like to do exercises. It sounds that you're working more than one body part at once to get the most bang for your buck.
Yes.
Right. No, I get that. And then, how long do you think people really have to work out for? Like, how much do you think is needed to be effective? So,
if you're really pushing,
if you're serious, not like what people say to because they have to be this or that. Like really, like be honest.
If you push, I mean, again, if you do a 21-day fix or fix extreme workout, I will kill you in 30 minutes.
Right.
You'll be dead, including myself. Watch me do real time, and I'm like, hold on.
Exactly.
Hey, let me. So but that depends on like your level of effort. So if you're willing to go all in, if you're willing to not take anything longer than 20 or 30 second breaks in between every move, even if you're not fully recovered and you're go,
right,
then I really think 30 minutes is, you can get a solid workout in 30 minutes.
How long do you work out for when you work out on your own?
I like to work out. So I like an hour. It's not just for my physical body, it is for my brain. It is my mental release, my clarity. Like, it's almost my form of meditation.
This is you sound like me, by the way. You could be my little sister over here, or big sister, whatever sister. Because the truth of the matter is, it's all mental.
Yes.
At this level, I think when you're working out, you've been doing it for so long as for your living. It's all about like the mental portion.
Yes.
And I think it does. It's like I always say every single day, it's my form of meditation. I'm not someone who likes to meditate.
Right.
So Why do I have to? Why can't I just run on a treadmill if I want to clear my head?
And for me, that's usually actually where I can more.
Yeah.
Like, because my body is going so hard, it's when I can stop my brain from thinking about the 9 million things that have to get done.
Right.
Because I'm pushing so hard in that workout, the only thing I can focus on is what I'm doing in that moment.
Yeah, exactly.
And if there's great music playing, even better. It's the adrenaline goes, the endorphins go, and when I walk out of that workout, I am better for it. Like, I'm a better mom, I'm a better employee. Like, my day is just better. That is also why I like it first thing in the morning.
Me too.
Like, if I gotta wait till 3 or 4, I'm like, oh.
Me too, because it's to also start your day off right.
Yes.
You do something that's really positive and productive the first thing, you're more likely to keep on doing those things throughout the day. And it energizes you, quite frankly.
Yeah.
You know, like, I that's why I feel I'm with you on that 100%. Do you work out every day then? Or do you take a day off?
5 to 6 days a week. I always give myself 1 day off.
Okay.
Need a recovery day. Usually that day though that is off is like, for me, that'll be an active rest day. So I might still be swimming with my son, or maybe meeting friends to go for a hike,
Right.
or go take a yoga class or something where I can stretch it all back out. Sometimes that is like a for real self-care day where it's like, oh, I'm gonna go do infrared sauna and get a massage and like
do all
the things that allow my body to keep working at the level I want to work it at.
And also, like, when this is also your job. People with massages, infrared, like, these are things that are they're not even luxuries anymore.
Right.
They're like necessities.
Oh, yeah.
For keeping your body like fueled and properly like like a machine, basically.
Yeah,
like
you gotta
tuned.
oil it and you gotta
just tuned.
Tune it up.
Like anything else. Would you say? Well, actually, let me rephrase this. What would you tell people how do they improve on their mindset, and how do people get motivation when they're lacking it?
So what I always say to people is, because people always ask me, like, how are you motivated every day? And I said, I'm not motivated every day. I'm disciplined every day. And therein lies the difference. That it is a discipline for me. I'm lucky enough to have said, I learned at a young age. I was a dancer, and I was a competitive dancer. So you learn discipline through that.
Right.
Like, you're coming to class, you're going to show up as your best, you're going to try your best. Like, that team is depending on you when you show up. So I did learn discipline that way. But now it's also become such a part of life. I just did a post about this the other day, that taking care of my body, getting my workout in, eating right, it's the same as brushing your teeth.
Yeah.
Like, you wouldn't get up and just not brush your teeth for a week straight. They will rot and fall out of your mouth.
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
And we're
agree.
all aware of that. Like, we all know, like, hey, don't brush your teeth and you're going to lose them.
Absolutely.
But we, for some reason, look at the whole rest of our body as something different. Like, we can just keep putting bad things in and not doing what it needs.
Right.
And think that it'll keep functioning for us, and we're not going to end up sick and in pain and with disease.
Absolutely. It's like kind of like doing anything else that's like it's like habitual.
Right.
Like anything else. You got to train your brain, train your body to do the same thing every day.
And I think it's all about how, like, the mindset thing, it's hard, but it's just a reminder. It's when you go negative, it's a reminder to yourself to flip it to the positive.
Right.
It's all of us can go negative.
Right.
It's super easy.
Right.
And you can get up and say, oh, I got to work out again. Or you can get up and say, I get to work out again.
Right. It's
like,
exactly.
You could say, or I'm sorry, you could get up and say, I have to work out again. Or you can get up and say, I get to work out again. There are so many people out there that would give anything to be able to exercise, but they can't. Their body, for whatever reason, won't let them, right? Maybe they've got an injury that stops them. Like, we're lucky to use our body in the way that we're allowed to. If you see somebody, I'll use a big extreme, soldier that's come back from war that's lost a leg.
Right.
They would give anything to be able to have that leg and move
agree.
in the way that we're blessed to be able to move in. And that doesn't mean that they can't work out too. I'm just saying, like, we just take it for granted sometimes.
We do take it for granted. And then, exactly, I think that's it's also just flipping the thoughts in your head into something different to make it more positive, or gratitude.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think I saw that too. Like, one of your daily habits is writing a gratitude journal.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And how long have you been doing that for?
That I probably started about a year ago, because I was in a hard place. And I was mad at myself for being in a hard place. I was going through anxiety, having bad anxiety attacks, and I didn't know why. And I was
out of the blue, you just started getting them?
yeah, and I was having little bits of, I won't say full-fledged depression, because that's very serious, but I was in this funk, and I couldn't figure out why, because here I am living what is my best life, right? Like I have the dream job, and my son is doing amazing, and like I have everything I want, and I couldn't figure out why. And I think it was because I started to get into this place of feeling the pressure of the level of success I had achieved, and feeling like, okay, now I have to continuously live up to that same level. So with every project, is it going to be as big as the 21-day fix, right? Is it going to be da-da-da? And then stepping into a meeting and watching the face of fitness change, right? The infomercials go away, and everybody being an expert, and everybody's in competition with you. And going from...
That's so true.
I went from this position of not... When I started, I wasn't in competition with anybody. I was just doing my thing and loving doing my thing. And somehow I was getting swept into feeling the competition of like, is somebody going to surpass me? Is somebody going to this? And that's when I had to really look inside and flip it and go, whoa, whoa, whoa. Two things. One, let's be grateful for where we're at and all we've accomplished and all we get to do, all I get to do, not have to do. Because it started to be like, I've got to get this email, and I've got to be in this group, and I've got to go to this meeting. And I was like, whoa, whoa, you get to. Like, you have the job that other trainers out there would kill for.
Right, you have the dream, like you just said. That was such an honest thing you just said, I think, really, because 100%, like, because from the outside, it looks like you had the perfect life for anybody in the fitness or wellness health space, right? You had like the ideal job with an ideal company, super, super successful. You look great. You're making tons of money. You got a nice kid, a healthy kid, and yet you were still like anxious because it kind of felt like it was going to be taken away from you in a way.
Yes. And so that's where the gratitude came in, of going, I better pause.
How did you figure that out though?
I started doing a lot of just the personal development. Gabby Bernstein's book, The Universe Has Your Back. Love that one.
Everyone loves that book.
That one was just like, it spoke to me. It was one of those things where I was like, I was in a desperate moment of like, I need to figure my crap out. Like, and
how long were you going through this?
Probably a good 6 to 8 months. And it was also one of those things where I didn't feel like I could talk to people about it, because it felt like, oh, woe is me. Like,
right, poor little
rich girl. Like, oh, life's so hard and you have anxiety. Why? Because you have to live up to blah, blah, blah. But for me, it was a real thing, and I needed to figure out how to get back to the happy place of just like living in the fun moment of what I was doing and appreciating what I get to do.
Right. Get to do it. So true.
And even through all of the like the competitions, the actual fitness competitions, and then when you're getting ready to film a program and feeling the pressure of dialing your body into that, but being in this different place in life where my schedule is busier, my son is getting older, he's doing more. All of a sudden I've got all these food sensitivities and my body's not responding to my training the way it used to. So it was all of that combined that was like, I can get sucked into this real quick.
Real fast,
of woe is me.
And those are real, like you said, those are real problems for you, because what you're saying, a lot of what you're saying resonates with me a lot. And those are real things, especially like when there is pressure. Just because you do look good and you're in the fitness, that makes you feel even more like anxious about maintaining it. And as we get older, it's not as easy.
Right.
And as we get busier, it's not as easy.
Yes.
And like there is a shit ton of pressure on you for that, you know?
And people will judge you every 5 seconds.
Every 5 seconds.
When I was going through the food sensitivity stuff, I didn't know it, and I was losing weight.
Oh, wow.
My body was dropping weight. I lost about 5 or 6 pounds. And here I am lifting as heavy as I had been lifting, and I am shoveling food in my face at this point. And I'm like eating donuts and stuff to try to put weight on. And I'm being told I look anorexic on social media, and you're supposed to be a health and fitness expert. You're not healthy. You look sick. And I couldn't figure out what was wrong. I mean, it took 2 years to figure out what was wrong.
And it was all these sensitivities.
I had all these food sensitivities, and it was all the food that I ate every single day. And so my body, when we finally figured it out and we did all my testing, they came back with all the food that I was sensitive to, and they also ran all my vitamins and minerals and came back that I was basically malnourished.
Because you weren't absorbing.
I wasn't absorbing anything.
Nutrients.
So it was like, okay, complete makeover. Like, here, you got to get rid of all the food you're used to. You got to learn to eat in a different way. And we need to replace all my B vitamins were gone. My adrenals were tapped out. Like, everything was just, my body was like,
So what did you do on both sides? Like,
I cut out all the foods that I was severely sensitive to. So eggs went, nuts went, flaxseed went. I mean, like, the healthiest of foods.
Exactly.
Right? Like the foods you would never think of.
Of course not.
Coffee went for a long time just because it, again, acidic. And then I started learning again more and more about healing your gut, because that was the problem, was like my gut was unhealthy. So not only did I need to rebalance the bacteria, I basically had leaky gut. So I had to figure out.
That's very popular too. People don't understand. A lot of things happen from their gut. When their gut is unhealthy, a lot of illness, a lot of sickness comes from that.
What people don't realize too is, I think 75% or more of your serotonin is actually made in your gut. So anxiety and depression for me.
Wow.
But my gut was completely off. As I removed those food allergies, food sensitivities, and I started to heal my gut, the anxiety and the depression, and obviously also flipping my mindset, but it all started to get better.
Really?
And it was like, okay, because when something is, when you have disease in your body, it's not just one, it's not concentrated to one place.
It manifests in so many ways.
It comes in so many ways, and it's so hard. It's so easy to go, well, the anxiety is up here and the stomach issues down here, but our whole body is connected. And the food we put in our body, like when you really stop to think about that, that is what nourishes or poisons every single cell in your body. It's what tells every cell in your body to either turn on and heal, or turn off, or activate cancer, or not activate. It's all of these things, and we just look at it as, I'm hungry, I'm going to put food in my body.
Absolutely.
And so much more is happening.
Wow. So then so now let's just go to the mental stuff for a second. So then you felt yourself getting better once you started healing from within. Now, you said also you were doing, that's why you started to do the gratitude journal. So where are you with that process now? Are you just kind of, you're feeling better now? Or?
Yeah,
okay.
It's always a work in progress.
Yeah.
And I feel like, because it's interesting, I just read a study that basically said 1 round of antibiotics can mess your gut up for up to 2 years. Like,
really?
It's literally like dropping napalm on your gut. Well, things had been going really great, and I was in Greece a couple weeks ago for a wellness retreat that I was leading, and the last day I felt a tickle in the back of my throat, and by the time I woke up the next morning, I had 102 fever, and I couldn't swallow, and I had to fly home from Greece, and I got home, and I went to urgent care, and I had strep throat. So I went 10 days of antibiotics. And the whole time I'm taking the antibiotics, knowing very well, like, this is one of those times, like, you have to take the antibiotics. Like, you can't mess with that. And I'm going, here we go again. I'm going to have to re-heal it all over again. But the beauty is I never stop this, so, like, I'm not eating the foods that cause issues. I take my probiotics. I take my vitamins. Like, I make sure I'm getting enough sleep.
Yeah.
So I feel like I'm always...
You're right. Yeah.
Like, on top of it?
You are on top. But still, like, with the, like, also, but, like, still, the same issues will always be there, which is competition and pressure to look a certain way. And, in a way, it sounds, maybe silly, but fortunately, you don't have the opposite issue that you gain weight very quickly and easily. Because as we get older, as you know, we lose more lean muscle mass. So you actually just lose weight if you're not... Like,
in that particular scenario,
area.
I did. I think I'm still in a position, though, where, like I said, for me, the hardest thing right now is my hormone levels jump around a lot because of all the food stuff. Because I learned such unique... what I've learned, sometimes I feel like it's a gift.
Yeah.
What I've learned from going through the food sensitivities has been mind-blowing, that stuff I probably would have never come across. When I went through 80-day obsession, even though... I already knew about the food sensitivities and I was handling it.
Yeah.
Remember, my body wasn't absorbing all my nutrients.
Right.
So we wrap 80 day, and I was a little disappointed that I wasn't as shredded as I know my body gets.
Could be, yeah.
But through the filming process, it was just busy, and I didn't have a chance to go to my doctor, and so I didn't. So I went to my doctor, and we were doing my checkup, and I was like, look, I just filmed 80 workouts, like hour long a day, like I time nutrition every day, like.
And you were watching what you were eating.
I was on my eating plan, and I was like, I didn't put the muscle on or lean out the way I should have. Something's off. And she's like, all right, let's check it out. And she draws my blood, and she calls me a few weeks later, and she goes, oh, yeah, there's no wonder at all why you didn't put any muscle on. Your testosterone is half of what it was the last time I saw you. So while we don't have the testosterone that a man has, we still need testosterone.
Of course we
Mine
do.
had plummeted. And I was like, why did it plummet? And she goes, your zinc is low, and you need zinc to make testosterone. So my body wasn't absorbing zinc. I wasn't getting enough zinc.
Wow.
And because I wasn't getting enough zinc, I wasn't making testosterone.
Guys, it's so interesting when you really break it down. Like, it's so many variables for everything to basically go to a certain place, you know? So then what happens? You take a testosterone, like, do you take a hormone supplement?
No, I took zinc.
So they gave you the zinc.
She gave me the zinc. She was like, no, like, because
and the zinc helps.
This is my natural path, and I try to do things in the most natural way possible, because it's never just the hormone is gone. It wasn't just that my testosterone was gone. My testosterone was not there because I didn't have enough zinc. So that one you got to be careful with, because you can get zinc poisoning.
Oh, you can get zinc poisoning.
Yes.
Right.
So that is monitored, like the vitamin that I take and that sort of thing.
Is it a hormone doctor you went to for that, or?
She is a naturopath here.
Okay.
Yeah, she's in the Palisades, and she's wonderful, and she is a doctor who listens to everything.
Right.
I mean, literally like 2 hours at a time, and hears everything, and is so in touch and in tune with foods and what foods you need, and like I said, vitamins and minerals. So yeah, we do it naturally, and I take my vitamins, and we check my stuff every 6 months.
Good.
And we're always, it's like a little formula, but it's so interesting. And I point it out because, people look at me, and here I am, the health and the fitness expert, and our bodies really are this like most complicated machine ever. And we get frustrated at ourselves. But, I ate a salad. Why don't I have a 6-pack? Or I worked out every day this week, and the scale didn't move. And I'm not saying everybody needs to run off to the doctor and get everything tested and everything checked, but we do have to give our body some grace, and give ourselves some time and some self-love, and know that, like, it doesn't all happen overnight, and all these other things come into play, whether you're getting enough sleep, if you're drinking enough water, if you're practicing your self-care, because all that stress.
Or if you have a gut issue, or if you have a hormonal imbalance.
Yes.
Or, I mean, like, to your point, I think if you are being honest with yourself, and you are eating how you should be, and you're exercising how you should be, and it's still not happening, go see a doctor.
That's when it's time to go get it checked. That's not when you throw your hands up in the air and be like, well, I'm just meant to be this way, and nothing is going to work.
And a lot of times people are not really doing the work that's necessary. They fool themselves.
Right.
But we're saying if that is not the case.
Correct.
Right, that's exactly it. And I mean, that's amazing. I mean, it's great that you're saying this too, because you being in the position that you're in, and in the area that you're in, I think it's nice for people to hear that can happen to everybody, no matter who you are and what you're doing, right? So what are you working on besides I know the 80-day obsession. You said you're not filming anything now,
right?
So tell me something, like, what are you doing with the other projects in your life? Like, what's the other areas you're spending your time on?
Well, I filmed Revenge Body at the end of last year, so that will actually release. My episode will release in August, so that was a really fun, amazing project to work on and take somebody through. And
did you meet with Chloe?
I did, and she is lovely.
Okay.
It was just, the whole thing was a very cool experience.
It was a nice experience.
It was nice to get to be. I don't work one-on-one with people very much anymore, right? Because I'm doing so it was nice to have somebody to work one-on-one with.
Yeah.
And just have that interaction again.
Right.
So there's that. I've been in talks with a couple different clothing lines about a possibility of capsule collections. So fingers.
What's a capsule collection for people?
It would be, so I had a capsule collection with Beachbody 2 years ago. So it was Autumn Calabrese for Beachbody. So it was, I designed a small line of fitness apparel for them.
For Beachbody.
Yes.
Okay. So you do that, you would do like an Autumn Calabrese line for, let's say, whoever the company is.
Right.
Okay.
So there's a couple, I can't name names right now, but there's a couple that I'm talking with to see if we can make something happen, which I love because that's always fun for me. I'm always like, I'm a girly girl, like, and when you got a good new fitness outfit, it makes you feel good.
100%.
It makes you want to go do that workout. So I love that feeling of empowerment of like putting on something that's your style and makes you feel good.
So you're working on that. So maybe we'll see something, maybe we won't.
Yes, hopefully, fingers crossed.
Okay, good. Anything else outside of Beachbody that?
Not totally right now. Everything is, because I just wrapped a couple of really big projects, this is the time where I get to create.
Yeah.
So this is the time where I'm thinking about, do I want to write a book? There's been 2 ideas sitting in the notes in my phone for 2 years. So is it time to write the book proposal?
Right.
Again, is it time to do the clothing line? My brother and I have talked about potentially doing a food line for grocery stores. So based on so they're all things that take quite a bit of time
big projects
and research. But they're all things that sound so exciting to me.
They all do. Now, when is that next program launch? The
Real Time launched June. What are we in? Today's July 1st. The Real Time launched 1st. June 1st. So it is available.
It is available.
Yes.
Okay. So, and that is that one different than the 80-day obsession regular time?
So 80-day obsession is just 80-day obsession, and that was filmed in real time. That was the first of its kind. I was the first trainer to ever get to do it, not amazing. Just in Beachbody, but in general.
In general.
To film for.
But there's one it's not 2 different
So
ones.
80 days, just 80 day. Then I just, for the 5-year anniversary of 21 Day Fix, I refilmed that program in real time. And I got to sort of do an upgrade on that, which is like, when we filmed it the original time, we filmed it in 5 days. We were doing 2 workouts a day. We filmed it, we were done, and that's it. And so when you play the original 21 Day Fix, even though you're doing those workouts every week, you see it. We're in the same outfit. We're doing the same moves. You're hearing the same cues. You're hearing the same jokes. So this was a brand new cast. We filmed for 21 days, and I got to progress the workouts each week. So week 1 is very similar to the original 21 Day Fix, but week 2, I got to dial it up just a notch. And then week 3, I got to dial it up another notch. So instead of getting maybe stuck on that fitness plateau, especially because there's so many people who have done 10, 12, 15, 20 rounds of 21 Day Fix. This makes it fresh and new for them.
Yeah, absolutely.
They can go back. And then same thing with 21 Day Fix Extreme. We filmed that.
I'm exhausted
right
just
after
listening to all the workouts. My God. Okay, so wow. So you got a lot of things on the go, but yet nothing is like set in stone. So then you're gonna have to come back and share it when you have one of them at least.
Yes, I feel like you said, literally just came off of the tail end of everything like a week and a half ago.
No, I know, because I tried to get you on this podcast before, and it was hard to schedule because you were such a busy lady.
I like to keep a lot on my plate, but this is I said, where I get to do the creative side of it, like go back in and find what the next thing is. So I'm excited for that.
Well, it was really great having you and hearing this, and I love that your honesty about your issues and. Thank you. Now, where do people find you?
They can find me on social media. On Instagram, it's Autumn Calabrese. The YouTube channel is also same thing, Autumn Calabrese. Facebook, it's all my name. It's all Autumn Calabrese. That's where you find me.
Exactly.
Or Beachbody, you can find me there.
And listen, you're a total joy. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Appreciate it. This was awesome.
No, thank you. It was awesome.
Much fun.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. Bye.